So, I got into one of these situations tonight, which is playing against people that overvalue their hands. Now, when you're playing against a newer player, which I was, and not that experienced, a lot of times they will overplay their hands, and they'll think that something that shouldn't be overbet. They'll just go crazy because they think it's a nuts. And I've ran into these situations before. Although the funny thing is, it seems like every time they actually have me beat. But this is like a kind of a unique situation where I raised on the button with 10-9 off. It got folded. I opened to 10-9 off. Nobody limped on open pot, and no limpers either. So I make it 10-9 off on the button. One guy calls, and then this guy, nice guy, but he is a kind of a newer player for sure, and he ends up making the call. And this guy in particular will call with anything. He's straddled for 6. I make it 20. He's calling everything. Like 10 deuce. He's calling everything. I've never seen him fold pre-flop when he's got a straddle in or already a limp in. So keep that in mind. The flop comes 10, 6, deuce, I think it is, with a couple hearts. So I flop top pair, gets checked to me. I bet 1/3 pot, and I bet 20 into 60. He raises to 60. So he check raises. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to fold yet to this guy because a lot of times he raises just to find out where he's at, you know. I am a little concerned. It was 10-5-6. That's what it was. So, you know, yeah, he could have sets or something, but I'll find out, right? I'm not going to fold yet. So I called. The turn was an ace, and he checked, and he actually kind of said, oh, shoot. He kind of slowed down. He didn't like the ace, and he kind of mentioned something. At this point, I honestly should have just taken it down because he didn't like the ace. I can just steal it here. Steal it, right? Even though I have showdown value, if I think he's going to fold because he doesn't like the ace, just freaking bet. I'm sure, I think that came back where clubs came in too, so I'm sure if he has like a set on the turn, he's betting. So because he didn't bet, I'm thinking he doesn't have a set, and I'm not worried about that, or 2 pair. So I really should have bet the turn just to take it down. I bet big on the turn he folds. But I didn't. And the river, of course, on my fucking luck, is the case 10. And he shoves all in. He overbets the pot. And now I'm like, I don't think he's bluffing. Not for an over pot size bet. I know the guy is capable of bluffing, but I don't think he's bluffing here with an ace on the board when I could have like ace king maybe checking back. Sometimes I'll check back the turn. Be a little tricky. So I don't think he's bluffing. I really believe he has a 10. The problem is I know he has any 10. And I don't think he's full because he would have bet the turn. And I think he's jamming any 10. Like, I think he's overvaluing. Like, if he has 10, 8, 10, 7, 10, 6, 10, 5, 10, 5 suited or something, he's jamming thinking his trips are good. So, because of that, I'm getting 2-1. Is a third of the time he has a worse 10 here? Yeah, I think so. That's why I have to call. I wasn't thrilled about calling, but I don't think for a second he has a boat. But I think he has a 10. And I think he would overvalue a 10. I don't like over jamming with a 10 here. And against a good player, I would probably fold. Or I don't know what I would do. Who knows? It depends, you know. It's all player dependent. But against someone like him who's a newer player, I think he just sees a 10 and he goes nuts with it. Just like I've had in the past before where people have gone nuts and bet with something that where I had the second nuts, and I'm like, there were so many other hands out there that he could be overvaluing that I called, not because I thought he was bluffing, but because I think he overvalues some hands that I beat. This is one of those spots where I think he would shove with really any 10. I might be flawed in that thinking, but I ended up making a call, and he had king 10 off too. So he did have a better 10, but yeah, I'm not sure if that's really a call there. And it's not because I think he's bluffing. I don't think he's bluffing. You know, the people at the table, oh, you can't fold that there. You know, well, I know he's not jamming an ace. I know he's not bluffing. So he has a 10 like me. I don't think he's full because he checked the turn. So he has a 10, like me. The question is, does he jam with a weaker 10? And if he jams with enough weaker 10s, I have to call it because I'm getting the right price to call because I could have a better 10. I don't know. It was just unfortunate that the Case 10 lovely came out. Fucking Case 10 don't come out. I mean, I don't lose any more money. But, I lost $225 on that last bet because he went all in for $225 and I called because, he had the King 10. And I guess the question is he really raising with like 10-8 on the flop? A worse 10 on the flop? I don't know, but obviously he was raising to find out where he was at. All he had was one pair. I mean, he 3x check raised with top pair. And a lot of people will raise like that, and then they'll slow down after you call them because they're like, oh shit, maybe my 10 isn't good, which I think is not the way to play. When you only, I don't know, raise to find out where you're at, where a lot of times you just call by better, or even if I don't have better, I can rep better being in position. So, unfortunately, lost that hand. I have to think about it a little bit more, but I think that's one of those spots you run into where people can overvalue their hands, and then you sit there and go, "Oh, it makes it hard." It makes it hard. If people aren't newer players and don't overvalue their hands, it makes it a lot easier. So, whenever you're basically thinking about a call, it's not just whether they're bluffing or they have it. It's also whether or not they're overvaluing something. And that's the only reason I call it, because I thought he would jam with the worst 10. Now, I might be wrong about that. Maybe he doesn't jam with Jack 10 or 10-8. In that case, 10-7. I know he calls anything pre-flop, so I know he can have any 10 in his range. That's the thing. But if he has like 10-7, is he raising the flop and then jamming all in on the river? Well, he did with just trips this time. He wasn't full. But, so he might do it. I don't know. It's a close spot, but, yeah, that's it.